pleasure to be here. I'll start with something that there was a start. It was one of the last poems I wrote in this book, but I realized that it belonged at the front because it was where I started getting outside, and it's an expression of how I got to where I am. And it's called The Big Wild. Did you first sense it in late summer in your childhood backyard, when dense green foliage muffled the sounds and you could hide just inches from passing footsteps? That there was a wildness out there in small and undiscovered places, growing so fast that the mowers and tamers cannot for a time keep up? Did this sense deepen as you ranged further out the door, that there were other places, grander and deeper, that animals called home? Paths short on footprints, unclimbable slopes, and berries free for the taking. And it is that time of year when, if you're in South Dakota, there's a reason that our state flower is where it is, because there's so much hope and joy and aspirations in spring, that the state flower should be one of the first ones in spring, and our state flower is called the Pasch flower, from Latin for Easter, for this time of year. Pasch. Yesterday, the Pasch flowers bloomed in the diminutive and reserved color that lies between the lavender of mist and the gray of lightly overcast skies. So demure, scarcely raising its delicate head above the needles cast from the overshadowing pines, that by blinking or looking away, it receded into its background. For many years, the South Dakota Poet Laureate lived in a cabin that he built in Custer State Park, and I think lived very close to the land and very close to those things that are deeply spiritual, for everyone. And being in the Black Hills, you find that all the time. And I always found this Badger Clark poem one of my favorites. It's called "I Must Come Back," and I realized that I'll never try to rhyme, because I really can't. And so I'm so grateful that there are those who have that skill and have that gift. I Must Come Back by Badger Clark. I dread the break when I shall die, not from my human friends, for they are shifting shadows such as I, and soon will follow me away. But from my earth that still must swing from day to dusk, from dark to dawn, slow shimmering on from spring to spring through all the years when I am gone. How many loving clouds will fold the piney peaks in tender mist? What sunsets turn the sky to gold and distant plains to amethyst? What sparkling winter days will loose the chuckle of a chickadee among the silent snowy spruce, and I shall not be here to see? An old street dweller's soul may call for that fair city of no night, boxed in a four-squared echoing wall of jasper, beryl, and chrysolite. But I should wish the endless song of crashing choirs were just a lark, and close light wearied eyes and long for starry summer-scented light. No, when the waning heartbeat fails, I ask no heaven but leave to wend, unseen but seeing my old trails, with deathless years to comprehend my earth, the loveliness of you, from all your gorgeous zodiac down to a glistening drop of dew. I must come back. I must come back. And I can definitely relate to writing a poem on your way here. That's perfectly all right. Everybody does it. But I was working on one. Another famous and rightfully so South Dakotan is Oscar Howe. Just a fantastic poet or painter. And it makes poetry for me. So, but just a fabulous painter, and if you haven't spent any time looking at his work, it's an amazing depiction of the life and spirit of this whole area. And in Old Main at the University of South Dakota in Vermilion, there's a gallery of Oscar Howe's work, and definitely worth taking in if you're ever on that side of the state. This came from Oscar Howe's Roping a Wild Horse. Even from this distance, you are pulled by the taut energy that flows through the sinew from the uncombed mane, through the arched back, into the heels dug in at either end of the rope, cutting deep crease into the thigh of its man anchor. The central protagonists in this painting portrayed boldly red and gold, surrounded by a cool blue atmosphere. How like the persistent wind tearing free the soil from beneath the hood. Close your eyes and your memory will not allow a still picture, but insist on a complex moving geometry of angles in perpetual realignment as horse and captor reposition their wills. The dance moves one step forward, two steps back. The heat persists as brilliant white flecks of foam that leap from the canvas, carrying the hot smell of struggle, steaming with the breath of life.